It is time for our weekly predictions, as it always is right here. So this time we have week 3. A lot of teams that need a win this week. Can't afford to lose, can't afford to start 0-3. So we're going to kind of give you the rundown on that, what to expect, and where our picks are as we battle it out, tied up 1-1. So let's go.
All right, starting off with the Thursday night game. The Giants on a short week traveling to San Francisco. That's just a bad matchup. I'll take San Francisco all day long. First of all, we saw what the Giants looked like against a really, really good pass rush in Dallas. That's going to be not quite the same level, but San Francisco can get after the passer. So Daniel Jones is going to be under duress. We know under duress he's not as good of a quarterback. Most guys aren't, outside of like Mahomes, who's better against the blitz. Saquon's out for 3 weeks, that ankle sprain, so they are not going to have a sustainable running game. To me, that's a Niners all day.
Yeah, I'm going Niners. They have looked commanding in both of their victories so far. I mean, they killed Pittsburgh, and then for the wide majority of the LA game, and even towards the end, they made it a little closer with that field goal at the very end.
By the way, huge cover for us.
Yeah, people are pissed about that, though.
Huge cover.
Yeah, I'm happy about it. But I just think when it boils down, the 49ers are just so much more loaded than the Giants. The Giants just aren't ready to beat a team of that caliber yet. I mean, they almost lost to Arizona.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, next game. The sneaky 2-0 Falcons traveling to Detroit.
First split?
No, we're not split on this one.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, no, I say sneaky Falcons because, yes, they're 2-0, but I get the feeling that nobody really thinks that they should be 2-0, and the line tells you that. The Detroit's favored by 3. That feels about right. I would consider even taking Detroit on -3. We'll get to bets later. But I'm going to take Detroit to go ahead and win the game.
Yeah, Detroit for sure. Atlanta feels like a pretender. We talk about this at the start of almost every single season when you have a couple teams that jump out to that 2-0, 4-0, 5-0 spot.
Yeah, the Bears one, you were like 6-0, and I was like, they suck. They're not a good team.
They were 100% a pretender, and I think that's exactly where Atlanta's at. I think this is the week where they kind of get exposed a little bit. I think Jared Goff's going to have a great week.
I don't trust Desmond Ridder in big spots. I just don't. All right, next game here. This is our first split. The Saints at the Packers.
Give me the Saints.
Saints at 2-0. You're going to go ahead and take the Saints. I'll go ahead and take the favored Packers. First of all, I'm at home. I get a better coach. Quarterback, yes, Derek Carr's slightly better. I would argue Jordan Love has more talent, but we know Derek Carr's a better quarterback. But I get a better coach. Mm-hmm. Dennis Allen has not been a good coach throughout the majority of his career in terms of wins, losses. And so getting the better coach at home, I'll take Green Bay.
I think this is one of the better defenses that Jordan Love will have seen up until this point.
That's a very fair point. That makes me nervous.
So I don't think he's going to be able to do all that much. And then on the flip side, you have Derek Carr going against that Green Bay defense, which sure has proven to be at least a little bit tough so far.
Good. Not great. Good.
But I think Derek Carr is above the level of having to worry about the Packers defense here. Give me the Saints. It's a toss-up game. I feel like it's closer than a lot of others. I don't feel all that comfortable taking the Saints here because I could totally see like Green Bay just,
to me,
coaching victory here.
Yeah, to me, it just feels like one of those like possession. They're just going to run the football.
It's going to come down to whoever gets the ball last. Yeah. It's going to be one of those games.
It's one of those at home. Jordan Love's going to be comfortable throwing on 3rd and 3s.
Yeah, so I don't feel great about it, but I'm taking the Saints.
All right, Texans at the Jags. We're both going to take the Jags. Texans aren't a good football team.
And Trevor Lawrence is amazing.
Yeah, despite having a defensive coach, they still can't stop anybody, so that's a problem. They're going to have to get that figured out, and I don't think they're going to figure it out against Jacksonville.
No, definitely not.
Chargers at the Vikings, our second of 3 splits. You're going to take the Chargers, I would assume, for the Jay Herbo factor.
Yes.
For me, again, very similar to the to the Packers game. I get an offensive coach at home. Both teams are desperate, so that's kind of a wash there. Mm-hmm. Like if it's an 0-2 team versus a 2-0 team, and they're somewhat close, even though their records aren't. Then I would go take the more desperate team. But they're both desperate. But I'll take the offensive coach at home. Kirk's a very, very productive quarterback. Do I think he's Herbert talent-wise? No. Statistically, yes. So I'll go ahead and take the Vikings at home.
All right, I'm going Jay Herb and the Chargers. I just don't think that the Vikings have the juice to beat this Chargers team. Now, I do worry that Brandon Staley can't figure out the defense.
The Vikings can put up points.
I don't love that. So I do think it's going to be a very, very close game. I have to ride with who I believe to be the better quarterback here. I obviously understand that Kevin O'Connell is a way better coach. But at the end of the day, I like Jay Herb. I like the Chargers. I'm going to stick with them.
That
bolt up,
over-under
baby.
at 54 is juicy. I would go ahead and take the over-under.
Yeah, I was going to say hammer the over.
Yeah. Colts at the Ravens. We're both going to go ahead and take the Ravens. I don't know if Anthony Richardson's going to play or not, so it might be Gardner Minshew. And Gardner Minshew, although serviceable, is not going to go on the road and beat
good.
Lamar. Yeah,
No.
it's not going to happen. So I'll take the Ravens.
Yeah, I think Lamar's going to be able to be 100% more dynamic than anything that they're going to throw at him. And the Ravens are going to start to hit their stride. They're a very talented team. They're going to start catching a lot of wins.
Wow, next game. Look at the over-under. The Patriots at the Jets. Over-under is 37.
Over. I'd take the over.
37?
Yeah.
On those teams?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess this is whatever.
It's low enough.
Sure. I'm going to go ahead and take the Patriots. I think you are as well.
Yeah.
This is the factor that Zach Wilson can't beat Bill Belichick. Point blank. End of story. I'll take Mac Jones and that running game to hopefully get going a little bit. To win in a slugfest like a 10-6 type game. I'm hammering the under there.
Yeah, and
I'm putting rent money on the under.
Okay, I'm taking Bill Belichick to just confuse the living hell out of Zach Wilson.
That's going to happen for sure.
He's going to continue to bully that kid as long as they have to play in division with each other.
I would agree. Broncos at the Dolphins. The Dolphins are a much better football. There's an argument that Tua has been the best player in football this year. He's been that good.
He's been really
even
good.
on the road against New England. I know the stats weren't super flashy, but he made really, really big throws when it counted. So I got to take the Dolphins. And they were on the road the first two games. They finally come home.
Give it a little hard rock.
Denver's got to fly across the country. This is a tough spot for Denver. Really, really nice spot for Miami. I'll take them to go to 3-0.
Honestly, Miami's offense is better. Miami's defense is better. I thought coming into the season, and we kind of touched on this a little bit today, that the Broncos defense would be a lot better. And I
did too.
think
Yeah,
on
they're
paper
not.
it should be better than Miami.
Yeah.
But dude, Miami
with Vic Fangio, now granted week 1 against Herbert, but that's going to happen to a lot of teams against Herbert.
Yeah.
They looked really good against New England, right? So when they dial up pressure, when Vic Fangio dials up pressure, they get home.
The defensive line played a lot better in this last week than they did in the first week.
And they're even banged up, so if they get healthy, I think they could be even better.
Yeah, give me Miami there.
Titans at the Browns, we're both going to go ahead and take the Browns. Look, now this one's close for me.
Because I could so see a Titans pulling off an upset here.
I agree, and again, we'll talk bets on a budget, but Cleveland getting 3.5, Rich, you're getting the hook with the Titans. That's an interesting value play there. But I do think the Browns, well coached. Deshaun Watson is going to be able to make some plays. We saw the backup running back for Nick Chubb can carry the ball. They have a really nice offensive line.
He did well.
At home feels like, again, another one of those possession type games where we're just going to run the rock 35 times. Deshaun will drop back 22. Play time of possession, play field position, win a kind of an ugly one, like a 21, 16 type game.
Yeah. It's going to be close. Yeah, it's going to be close.
It's going to get down to the last possession, I think.
Oh, 100%.
Bills at Commanders. Now, this one's interesting, but I'm going to go ahead and take the Bills. I think they're a better football team. And you see the Bills, when they play bad football teams, they knock them out, right? Yeah. Like, they can lose close games to a good defense like the Jets. They go and play the Raiders. They hammer them by, 4 touchdowns, right? So, that's what they can do against average to below average teams, and I think we view the Commanders as an average team, so I'll take the Bills.
See, the Bills have the opposite of the Steeler effect, where the Steelers tend to play down to their competition whenever they play a bad team and make it way closer than it should be.
Yeah.
The Bills are high-flying. When they face an inferior team like that,
they hammer them.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolute routing. Give me the Bills.
Yeah, that's why this is kind of a stay away here for me. I considered putting this in bets on a budget, but
I wouldn't.
Because the Bills hammer average teams.
Yeah, they do.
If it was a normal game with a 6.5 point spread, I'd probably go ahead and bet the dog, but I just can't with the Bills being able to hammer a lot of average teams.
Yeah.
Panthers at the Seahawks. Seahawks at home. I'll go ahead and take the Seahawks. Loud. Pete Carroll's a defensive coach. They're going to confuse Bryce Young. Very, very active secondary in Seattle. I take them to win.
Yeah, Seahawks for sure. There's no way that Bryce Young and company come in and beat them.
No. Cowboys at Cardinals. I think this could look a lot like that 40-0 game against the Giants. I'll take the Cowboys by a landslide.
Yeah, it's going to be – this is another team that I think is just going to dominate an inferior opponent this week. The Cardinals just don't have a shot.
Yeah, same thing with the Chiefs and Bears. I think the Chiefs win by 4 touchdowns. I think the Bears are terrible. I think Justin Fields is awful. And that Chiefs defense is no joke. They've let up 2 touchdowns all year, so that's really, really good. They can play now that they have Chris Jones back. That's a very good defense. I don't think the Bears they might score 10 points. I think
that's being generous. 10 points is generous for the
Bears.
And
I do think the Chiefs offense breaks out a little bit. To me, that's like a 31-10 game.
Yeah, this is almost going to be like an OTA for the Chiefs, I feel like, where it's just like, hey, look, we haven't looked all that great this season, where a lot of our pieces are kind of unproven.
Yeah.
Let's go out against a really bad team and just run an offensive practice the entire time.
Couldn't agree more. Sunday night game and our third of 3 splits. Steelers at the Raiders. I'm going to go ahead and take the home Raiders. First of all, I get I would say the better quarterback with Jimmy Garoppolo. I get an offensive coach with Josh McDaniels. I get Devontae Adams. I get a better offensive line. I get a more stable run game with Josh Jacobs. Defense, I can see the Steelers definitely have an advantage on the defensive side. But I'll take the better offense, the better coaching staff at home with the Raiders.
Let me give my piece here. I think the Steelers' defense is going to be the only reason for the win of this game, as it was this last week.
Yeah.
They really lean on their defense. And look, if you're going to lean on something you do really well. I think they have a top 3 defense in the league. It's really not even that close. Obviously, the secondary could use a little bit of improvement for sure. But at the end of the day, you get a crazy pass rush. So Jimmy Garoppolo is going to have 0 time to analyze and throw back there. They haven't seen anything like that yet this year. And then offensively, I mean, at least you showed flashes of starting to get
the ball to
together.
George Pickens. Get the ball to him 7-8 times a game. He should have 14 targets.
As we mentioned last week, this is one of those games where you feed your star. You put the ball in your playmakers' hands and let them do what they do. If you do that with George Pickens, you should be fine. Now, Kenny Pickett should be doing like accuracy drills all week. I don't want you missing any wide open receivers, but at the end of the day, I think the Steelers will go in, battle this one out, and take it out of Vegas' hands.
We'll see. Eagles at the Bucs. We're going to both go ahead and take the Eagles. I think they're a better team, top to bottom. That's pretty simple.
Yeah, Eagles.
Yeah. Rams at the Bengals. Look, Joe Burrow has to rebound at some point. I think prime time at home versus a Rams defense who's kind of young, not super impressive. I'll go ahead and take the Bengals.
Yeah, they have to turn it around, right? Like, he's getting paid so much money now. Like, you just signed that extension.
You have to.
You have to win. And I think Joe Burrow's feeling that pressure. It was evident in that post-game presser.
Yeah.
So, they're going to come out this week with a vengeance looking for a win. I got the Bengals.
I agree. So, I got the Raiders. You got the Steelers. I got the Vikings. You got the Chargers. And I have the Packers. And you have the Saints.
Perfect. Well, guys, we alluded to it while we were doing the predictions.